It did that to me the other day. It said preparing, and I stopped it.
It's live.
It is?
I think it's live now. Yep.
Yeah.
It's live. I think it's because we ended the last one and I didn't exit out.
Other thing?
I didn't say yeah.
Okay. Alright. Well, tomorrow, what we'll do is... This is what we'll do for tomorrow. Before we start this timer back up. This is what we'll do. We'll have both pulled up. So we'll have the YouTube one pulled up, and then if we start getting issues with it or whatever, just switch to the Twitch one. Because I know the Twitch one will work, 100%.
Yeah.
So I'll have both pages pulled up. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and resume as I start talking about this. 3, 2, 1. So as you guys can see on Will's YouTube here, we are live. And
that'll take some time for them to go to YouTube too, so we
yeah.
can just add
Ignore the Doritos and food on my bed. So as you guys can see, there is about a 8, maybe 10 second latency, which is right at what we was aiming for at the start of this project. And if we turn our audio on here, I'll turn it on from here for just a second. At the start of it, you'll hear that we are getting audio. I'm not going to leave it on because it will echo. But it has very low delay. And so you'll see, since we are connected to a wireless data endpoint, we can just walk around and still be connected. We don't have to be hardwired into anything. I'll probably walk around the classroom. Yeah, I'll walk around the classroom. And so we will touch on this a little bit more at the end as well for our future works. But as of right now, this is just connected to the school's internet. But this could be connected and set up with anybody's hotspot. So if your phone plan has a hotspot available to it, this can be connected and set up to it relatively easy. I mean, the same way you would connect your laptop or anything else to a hotspot, and then you're pretty much good. And yeah, I'll probably let. Did we do the Christian thing? No, explain and then I'll let Christian explain the stream metrics here as well for this part.
Hello, my name is Christian. I'm a deadbeat. So this is stream metrics right here. So you can see we have some chart.js charts actually showing data from our most recent stream. So the one before this one. What this is doing is there's a Python parser in the back end, and I still need to talk about a fast API, which will eat up more time. That's good. Parser in the back end that is taking the data. FFmpeg automatically can create logs for you. So we're taking those logs and we're parsing them with Python, and then we're using chart.js to display them on our front end. So you can see your FPS on the left, your quality on the right, and that just basically lets you know where there were dips in quality in your stream. And for future work, we could log this into the database as well and have a page with all of your stream analytics. And so now Will's gonna explain the API setup. Hi, my name's Will. So for this website, we used a fast API, a fast API setup enabled to.
Look in your YouTube comments.
Yo, Grayson, that's my brother. So for this, we used Fast API, so that basically allowed us to connect our HTML front end to our Python backend. So Python is running all of these FFmpeg scripts. It's actually running Python scripts to run terminal commands to control the camera. And so that's just done through calls. We can actually pull up the dashboard, can't we?
Yeah.
No, that's on the Pi.
Oh no, yeah, you were trying to say to pull up the FFmpeg dashboard.
The Fast, yeah.
One thing I wanted to mention as well, take notice here, guys. You guys can kind of see if you have it pulled up on your phone on YouTube, you will notice down there in the settings box on the quality option, it is streaming in 720p. But on our HLS preview here on our web app, that is actually streaming in 360p. And the reason being for that is obviously the higher the resolutions, the more overhead it creates for the Pi itself. And we kind of wanted to lower that as much as we possibly could. And, you know, take notice that the preview is more so for you, an indicator to know that you you're getting feed to your backpack. Therefore, it's able to be sent out as an input. So from there, we'll go back to we will keep this live stream going for the rest of the presentation, but we'll go back here to our presentation, and then we'll go through some of our challenges. Why won't it go? I don't know why it's loading. Oh my gosh. Come on. Hopefully this doesn't happen on the school computer. Just loading. Okay, here's some of our challenges. We'll let Christian kind of start off on this. Go ahead, Christian.
So, he's not going to have anything to say. Me and you just need to take this.
You think?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I can talk about HLS and choosing the streaming. You can talk about hardware limits and splitting the stream outputs.
Okay. So
I'll start. I'll say, so some of our biggest challenges were these four on the screen. For me personally, one of the biggest challenges was just choosing the streaming and encoding approach. When we started out, I was using 2 different libraries to record the video, and then another one to record the audio, and then a third library to encode the video together. And after about a week of working on that solution, we realized that that was just going to be way too complicated for the project, and so we ended up going with FFmpeg like y'all saw, and that is what we use to handle all of our encoding video audio. The second issue that I ran into was the HLS startup issues. HLS was something completely new that I had to learn for this project, so it just took a little bit of forum diving, a little bit of documentation reading, and finally setting up the HLS in a way that has low enough latency, but is still not perfect. But HLS was a good solution to having the stream previewed on the page.
So as I kind of mentioned earlier as well, the hardware limits of this project, doing this with the Raspberry Pi is going to increase some expected, or is going to introduce some expected overhead, just because the Raspberry Pi isn't meant to be a supercomputer, as you guys are well aware. So something such as an Orange Pi, as I mentioned earlier, or a Nano, or something along those lines, I mean, you can get those really cheap, and they would be perfect for a setup like this. So for our, what else was I going to mention? Oh, and then I also wanted to mention splitting. I kind of touched base on this a little bit earlier as well. So the way our process works, as you guys are well aware, I'm sure if you have a computer, you cannot take a camera input that you have on your computer and use it in 2 different locations at once. It'll have you turn one off and turn the other on, or vice versa. So the way we had to do this is we had to split the streaming output. So the Pi itself actually only thinks there's one output, but it's splitting it right before it goes out of the Pi to its destinations. And then it splits those, and then it executes the HLS protocol and the FFmpeg protocol. And that's how it ends up at its final destination.
And so for some of our future work, there's a couple of things. With more powerful hardware, we could have stream overlays via the OBS API. More powerful hardware could handle a sustained 1080p 60 FPS. As you saw, we had to draw it back just due to hardware limitations. You can talk about the OAuth in the live chat.
Okay, so also, if anybody's in here ever used OBS before, you know that you're able to change the title of your stream, and you're able to view the chat, and you're able to do all sorts of things with different docs inside of OBS. That is something that we would definitely want to look into if we had more time, and I'd definitely like to look into it in the future, into integrating our system with Twitch's system, which I actually didn't look into it a little bit. And basically all you need to do is get a developer key, and you got authorization to integrate that with Twitch. And I believe the process is fairly just as simple with YouTube as well, maybe a little bit more harder since they like to be complicated. And then one more thing I wanted to do, we also wanted to introduce a drop protection or an offline screen. So basically, where right now, I say for the live demo, we'll probably have Christian be holding this. Christian, if you